Call it dementia, call it the Jake Tapper syndrome, call it whatever you want. But the media has been ignoring the obvious, that Trump is suffering from severe cognitive decline, and the White House has been covering it up. Well, today, the White House just proved that Trump is no longer fit for office, and they said it loud and clear. The whole world has been waiting for this one-on-one meeting with Putin, pretending like the handwriting isn't already on the wall. Trump is going to give away Ukraine and Alaska to serve his master. And of course, Christian Caroline told us that Trump was going to do this one-on-one.
But this administration has really used every lever, has taken every measure to achieve peace through a diplomatic solution. And I think the President of the United States getting in the room with the President of Russia, sitting face to face rather than speaking over the telephone, will give this president the best indication of how to end this war and where this is headed.
So if you still think Trump is of sound mind, or Trump is not controlled by Putin, then watch Trump on the tarmac waiting to greet Putin. I've seen puppy dogs with better control. Okay, here he comes. Here comes the master. I'm so happy to see you, master. You've come to my place, master. And then, of course, Trump tries the old Trump pull handshake with Putin. It doesn't work, but he keeps on trying. And all of that, of course, is happening on a red carpet. These are supposed to be negotiations with a war criminal, and Trump rolls out the red carpet. Here's what the media had to say about that.
Just a note on the red carpet of it all. I mean, I think it's a visual that, our reporters in the region say is just rubbing Ukraine the wrong way. To roll out the red carpet for a man who is wanted for war crimes against Ukraine in what might be a negotiation is something that is not going to be received well there.
So much for Trump, the fart of the deal. Any tough negotiator would have avoided all of these mistakes. But Trump is not a tough negotiator, nor is he surrounded by people who are. But all these things only prove that Trump is stupid. What Caitlin Collins reveals next proves that Trump is cognitively impaired. Watch.
But I do want to bring you some news that we've just learned as Air Force One has landed. This is what a White House official told the reporters who were on the Air Force One traveling with the president from Washington here to Alaska, which is that one-on-one meeting that we were expecting to happen between President Trump and President Putin, that Caroline Leavitt confirmed to me the other day was the plan going forward, is now no longer happening. There is no longer going to be a one-on-one, and what we are told by a White House official is that this will now be a 3-on-3, meaning 3 members of the U.S. delegation and 3 members of the Russian delegation as well. And what we are told by the White House is that President Trump will be joined in that 3-on-3 by his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and the Secretary of State and Interim National Security Advisor, Marco Rubio. It's not clear who the other, their counterparts from the Russian side will be that are joining President Putin in that meeting. But that is a huge development here, Jake, in terms of the structure of what this meeting is going to look like. And you've got to look at those 2 voices who are going to be inside the room with President Trump as this goes forward. One, Steve Witkoff, who is no stranger to Vladimir Putin and has met with him at length and actually was in that last meeting with him that set up all of the motion that put in place this meeting happening here today. So he does have a lot of experience with the Russian leader. But then also Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who, of course, as a senator in his previous job, took a very hardline stance against Russia, was grilling previous officials on whether or not they believed that Putin was a war criminal during Senate confirmation hearings in Trump's first term. He will also be the other voice that is in the room there with President Trump as he is going to be meeting with President Putin. And so that in and of itself, Jake, is quite notable. No longer a one-on-one. Instead, it will be a 3-on-3 meeting as this summit gets underway here today.
So a last-minute change to the protocol that puts others in the room with Trump.
This the idea that you're not either Secretary of State Rubio or Special Envoy Witkoff aren't in the car giving last bit of talking about. They had a lot of time in the plane, so that's not exactly lost time. The idea that they're in there without them, I think without adult supervision, if I may be so sarcastic, I think is a bit of a risk.
So the last thing that reporter says is the key here to what the White House is doing. Trump cannot be trusted to be alone with Putin. And the reason he can't be alone with Putin is because he's too cognitively impaired to be trusted. He could give away more state security secrets, but also he would just be completely manipulated by Putin. He was already going to give away Alaska. If he was by himself, he'd probably give away oil rights in Texas. And here's the crucial question. Would we have to worry if Obama was meeting Putin one-on-one? No. Would we even have to worry if Biden were meeting Putin one-on-one? Again, no. But Trump? No one, not even his own White House, trusts Trump and his cognitive abilities to meet with Putin one-on-one. That's it. End of story. There's really nothing more to discuss. Trump fundamentally does not have the cognitive ability to function as president, and the White House is hiding that. And this was all discussed with Jake Tapper sitting right there at the desk. Well, Jake, any cover-up going on here? Nope. Like the turd that he is, Jake just sits there and says nothing about it. He's not even planning for his sequel to Biden by doing one on Trump. It's hard to decide what we should be shouting more, release the Epstein files or enact 25 on 47. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.